and I'm going to let you have the stage. So here you go for it. And really, I was saying on Twitter, by the way, that if you're on Twitter because you don't know how to use Google Plus, people should be here. So please teach me because I know nothing.
Yes, and I actually just tweeted that I was talking. So anyways, hey everybody. So yeah, Google Plus, and what's actually, before I hop into the talk, what's really interesting is that the whole timing with this event is pretty cool, because today is actually 1 year that Google Plus has been live, has been launched, and all of that stuff. And so, pretty cool timing. And first off, I just want to thank John Morgan, who's been talking here, and he's here in the chat for actually telling Susan about me to potentially talk. Like, I saw him actually post about this going on like a week before I got contacted by Susan, and then I got an email by Susan, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I didn't even hesitate for 2 seconds to really do this talk. But Google Plus is really interesting, and a lot of people have these myths about it, and we're going to dive into these myths and really debunk them. But before we do all that, a lot of people consider, or a lot of people say Google Plus is a Facebook killer, or some people say Facebook is a Google Plus killer, and we just need to get completely past that stuff. It's no longer which is the best social network to use. It's how can you utilize these social networks for your business, for your brand. And so one of the first myths is Google Plus is a ghost town. All of the just big tech blogs have been talking about Google Plus as a ghost town since the beginning. And again, with how the timing is, actually Google I/O, which is Google's developer conference, is actually going on right now. And yesterday, they actually announced some new updated numbers. So have them right here. And as of yesterday, there are 250 million users, 150 million login minimum per month, and 75 million users log in daily. So there you go. The myth that Google Plus is a ghost town, completely just BS. Another thing is a lot of people who use Google Plus or are trying to use Google Plus is nobody is engaging. And I did a post a while back about this. And of course, if you follow or if you circle a bunch of inactive people who hardly ever post anything, of course your stream is going to be dead. Of course you're not going to get any engagement on your stuff. This is the same way with Twitter or Facebook. This is really nothing any different. If you're following a bunch of people on Twitter, if you're friends with a bunch of people on Facebook who hardly ever post anything, of course you're not going to see anything, and of course you're not going to get any engagement on your stuff. Another thing is Google Plus is only for geeks and the tech savvy. And another one of the jokes that people like to crack is Google Plus is only, or is all Google employees. And yeah, okay, there's a lot of Google employees on Google Plus. Hey, it makes sense. It's their product, but there's just a lot of different people. There's not just geeks, but I talk to people all the time who don't even know how to use Facebook and don't even know how to use Twitter. And they're not tech savvy at all. They barely know how to operate a webcam and all of this stuff, but they're using Google Plus. So it's not just for the tech savvy. It's not just for the geeks. It's for everyone. And I always screw up his name, Kawasaki. There we go. He says it best. Twitter is for news. Facebook is for friends and family. And Google Plus is for your interests and passions. It's really a social network for your passions and what you're really interested in, and we'll dive into more of that. So another thing is, as far as the people saying that there's inactivity, of course we just talked about, there's 75 million people who use Google Plus daily, but also back in January like 19th, earlier this year, I did just a quick little survey, and right now I have close to 25,000 people circling me, and it was about the same time around then. And my audience isn't just people who are interested in social media or small business owners or marketers or anything like that. It's just a bunch of different kinds of people. But I did a quick little survey asking how many hours would you say you spend on Google Plus every single day, and I left like 4 responses in the comments to let people choose from, And what was interesting is, and the result and the questions I had, the questions I had was 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. And what was really interesting is out of 116 people who responded, 60% said that they spend more than 4 hours per day on Google Plus. Now, either that's a good thing or people really need to step away from the computer, go out and talk to somebody, and just tone it down. But yeah, 60% of people said that they spend more than 4 hours a day on Google Plus, which is absolutely insane. And interestingly, only 14% actually said that they spend less than an hour per day. So, Google Plus is really, is really interesting social network. There's people clearly using it, and it's all a matter of really finding the right niche and the right audience. And people are there. You just have to find them. So first, the first question to ask yourself is, who is your target audience? Now, everyone should know this by now. If you're using social media for your business, sorry, I'm looking at chat here, but if you're using social media for your business, you should know who your target audience is, because if you're out there using Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and you have no clue whatsoever who your target market is, who your main customer is, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to be spending and putting in all this effort trying to, get this business when you don't even know who the hell you need to talk to. So, first, figure out who your target audience is, and hopefully you already know that. Secondly, what are your goals? What is your strategy? A lot of people jump right into Google Plus without any strategy at all. And part of this, let's be honest, a lot of this is people who are very avid about Google Plus, who say that Google Plus is the next big thing, and Google Plus is a Facebook killer, and you should be using Google Plus. And while, okay, that may be true to an extent, if you're already using social media for your business, to completely take all of your focus away from Twitter and Facebook and then focus it on Google Plus is absolutely stupid. You don't want to just focus on one social network. You want to focus on multiple different ones, and it definitely doesn't hurt to spend and invest a little bit more time over on Google Plus, and really jumping in without a strategy and goals is a bit like going off a diving board and not knowing how to swim. You're going to have a hard time, and it's just not going to work out for you. So many dive into Google Plus and without either, and eventually, hey, they're left with nothing to show for it. And the main takeaway here is focus creates results. It doesn't matter what social network you're using. If you are not focused, if you do not know who you need to be targeting, who your audience is, if you do not know what your goals are, if you do not have a strategy, you will fail. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how popular you are. Okay, well, maybe if you're like a superstar musician, maybe you'll do well without a strategy. Just post, hey, I'm going to be here, and 1,000 people will go to your concert. But focus creates results. So you really need to stay focused, and you really need to keep going along with that. And you really want to put in the building blocks first. And by putting in these building blocks, you'll be able to build something great. And the thing is, I'm definitely not anybody special, but I've managed to build a really decent audience on Google Plus and get thousands of comments, plus ones, and reshares. And I'm just some guy who talks about social media like thousands of other people. So you don't have to have like this crazy awesome business, or you don't have to be like this superstar person. Anyone can build an audience on Google Plus, and that's just the bottom line. And so as far as putting in place the right building blocks, you definitely want to make sure your profile is set up correctly. And we could go on for like 10-15 minutes about the best ways to have a good profile and all of that stuff, but you can just look at some top users in your niche and see what they're doing, and just do something along those lines. But you want to make it quick. You want to make your introduction as quick as possible. Let people know who you are, what you do, and what they can expect. So as far as finding people, this is the biggest thing. Where do I find people on Google Plus? And really, search is your best friend. And now, I will say Google Plus search, it's not as great as Twitter search, but then again, Google Plus is exactly a year old today. And Google is a search company. So I'm pretty sure they're going to continually improve search and all that stuff. But for right now, you can actually find the people that you're looking for. So using the built-in search, you can actually search for keywords or phrases. And speaking of that, before I jump too far ahead, stay away from the suggested users list. Now, I know Google says to follow these people in the suggested users list. They're mainly really popular people. The problem with that is, one, these people are likely not in your targeted audience. They don't give a crap what you do. And two, these people are not engagers. They're just broadcasters. They just post stuff about themselves or what they're doing nonstop every day, and that's just something you don't want in your stream. You want people that you can engage with, and so that's really the big takeaway there. And so when you search for a particular keyword or phrase, there's a box that shows up on the left-hand side that says everything, and if you click that box, it'll give you a bunch of options. And so to just view posts that are around this keyword or phrase, you simply click Google Plus Posts, and to find specific people, you simply click People and Pages, and that will give you just a list that you can just keep scrolling for days if you want, of all of the people or pages that have that keyword or that phrase in their About section. So like a quick example, you could do say you sell pet products, say you sell something to do with dogs. You could do a search for dog lover, and I've actually tried this. You could do a search for dog lover, click People and Pages, and you can just see a huge list of all of these people who have said in their profile, dog lover. And then you can actually check out and see if these people are actually active. So you don't want to just find people that are in your audience and people that are actually targeted, but you want to also find people that are active. So definitely when you go to look for people and you go to add them to a circle, before you do, actually make sure they're active and actually make sure they're posting. Otherwise, you're not going to see much going on if you circle, again, a bunch of inactive people. So I'm checking out the comments here. Networking tips for Google+. By the way, if you guys have any questions about Google+, I see a couple in there. Make sure to keep them for at the end of this chat, because I'm going to try and get through this as quick as possible, and I really would love to answer all your questions after all of this, so we can just dive, just get right through this. So yeah, make sure when you do find the people, they're active. Otherwise, there's not going to be any engagement whatsoever. Another really just awesome tool for Google Plus for finding people is shared circles. Now shared circles are really similar to Twitter lists. Basically, someone creates a circle, they add all these people to it, and then you can actually share your circles. And so there's a lot of just different circles out there of people, just about any kind of group of people that you can think of. And so it's easily one of the best ways to find targeted people to connect with. In fact, sometimes it's even better than using search themselves. So, Mike, would you want to be the heck quiet? Nah, you guys are fine. But to find for a very comprehensive and categorized list of shared circles, I think his name was Chris Porter. He put together a Google spreadsheet of like over 1,000 shared circles and has them all categorized. So if you do like a Google search for shared circles list, on the first page of Google, there should be like an article or something from thenextweb.com. If you click that, they will have the link to the spreadsheet of all these shared circles. And it's all categorized, so you can find just about any kind of circle you're looking for, depending on the type of people that you're looking for. So yeah, keep going here. Everything starts with great content, and Scott Stryden was on here earlier this morning with I don't like saying his name, but he was on here earlier this morning with John Morgan. but Scott says something really great, and it's people don't share meh, people share awesome. And it really starts with awesome content. If you post boring, bland, just shitty stuff, or just post about yourself all day, or hey, I've got this new blog post, or hey, check this out, people are just going to be bored. They're going to tune you out, and they're not going to want to have anything to do with you. They're not going to want to interact with your content. And really, this stuff is not any different from any other social network, but it's just the truth, and people need to hear that. If you post boring crap all day and talk about yourself all day and don't actually share awesome, valuable content, people will tune you out, and that's that. And there's really several ways of sharing content on Google+. And so one of the first ways is to, talk about your thoughts around a specific topic. It can be anything, like, say you, again, we'll go back to the dog example. Say you want to talk about 3 tips to better train your dog. You could talk about something like that. And what's cool about Google+, unlike Facebook and Twitter, is, okay, you have the huge character limit like with Twitter, but you can do rich text. So you can bold or italicize content on Google+, which is great because it gives more attention to your content, and more people will see it, and it just looks better instead of just having everything just plain text like on Facebook. And so say you want to bold text, or say you want to bold word or words, you simply surround a word or these words with the asterisk symbol. And to italicize text, you simply surround word or words with the underline symbol. And it's really that simple. And it's just a great way, again, of bringing attention to your content. So another way of sharing great content is incorporating the use of images and video. So Google doesn't talk about this, but they actually have an algorithm in place that's very similar to EdgeRank. And so basically how it works with EdgeRank on Facebook is Facebook gives more weight to images and videos. And so some of you who use Facebook, you may actually be wondering why in the past many months these images with quotes are like huge, just huge. It's like almost everything that people share, at least with what I see, and with a lot of my friends, you just see tons of images being shared, and that's because Facebook gives more weight to images and videos, and Google Plus does the exact same thing. So definitely look at incorporating the use of more images and video, and this should be a given. Like, I shouldn't have to say this, but make sure the image is actually relevant to the post. Like, I've seen people post just regular stuff, and they'll include an image, and it has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the actual content. It has, like for example, one of them was like a freaking picture of Iron Man, and it had something to do with I don't even know what it was, but it wasn't relevant. That will just piss people off. And anyways, the next thing is a combination of the first two. So I find, and a lot of other people find, that incorporating the use of text with bold and italicized text, and combining that with a video or image, does really well. That grabs attention again, and as well, not Facebook. I'm not called Google Plus Facebook, but Google Plus gives more attention to that content. So what a lot of people like to do, and actually it works really well, is say, for example, you have a new blog post. Instead of just sharing the link to your blog post, include the headline of the blog post, then have the link actually to the blog post, and then share it with an image. And that will give more attention to your content, and more people will be able to digest it. And yes, I do actually breathe. I just talk really, really fast. So yeah, include images. That's really the big takeaway with this part on content and sharing great content is images really are important, and they should be used more. But not everyone always does that. So and last but definitely not least, share other people's stuff. So if you've circled, and if you've actually built a good following and a good circling of all of these different people who are within your niche, or people that you just find interesting, because again, Google Plus is for following your interests and passions, you'll actually find good content to share. And people should have high quality stuff if you're following the right people. And by the way, I forgot to mention, but for everyone who's watching this, once this talk is over, I'm going to give you a link to actually get this presentation for free without opting in a PDF. So definitely make sure you stay tuned, because I want everyone to get this stuff. I want everyone to be able to actually utilize this stuff and actually do well on Google+. So you're following people. So what do you do now? So one of the big things is posting. And with how the whole Google Plus system works is you have circles. So you can add people to circles, and you can also share content specifically to those circles. So the question is, should you share content just to circles, specific circles, or public? And it really all depends, but the simple fact is, if you share more public, you're going to get more people to see your content. If you're always sharing content to circles, not as many people are going to be able to see your stuff. And also, what a lot of people don't realize is if you just post to circles and you never post publicly, when someone who does not have you circled goes to your profile, it shows up that you have never posted anything. And so these people will go to your profile, even if you've been active for months. If you've only posted to circles, people will land on your profile and it will look like you're inactive. So you definitely want to make sure you post public. Like 99.9% of what I post is public, because I want more people to see my stuff, and I know it's good stuff, and that's simply that. So you can post to circles. If it's something that you only want seen by a specific group, or of course if it's private, definitely share it with circles or specific people. But for most of the time, focus on sharing stuff publicly, because again, more people will see it. So what's great is you can tag people in posts. So say you want to tag somebody, similar with Facebook, you simply type the plus symbol and then start typing out their name, and like a little drop-down list will pop up where you can select the people and choose who you want to actually tag. So you can tag people inside posts, and you can also tag them when you go to select who to share it with, what circles or public or whatever. So you can do that. And this is a great way to get people in on a conversation and whatnot. But a big mistake that a lot of people make, and probably one of my biggest pet peeves, is people who will tag just about anybody and everybody on something, and it has absolutely nothing at all to do with what you're interested in, or you have kind of blanked there for a second, but yeah, it's not relevant at all to you. And so you don't want to just tag anybody and everybody in your stuff. Make sure these people are actually interested in your stuff, and make sure they're actually they actually know what's going on when they actually see the post, so they can interact with it and whatnot. But you definitely don't want to just tag anybody in your stuff. If you do that, you're going to be looked at as a spammer. People are going to block you, and eventually you're just going to be suspended and time wasted. So, and also you can reply to people in comments. I mean, this isn't anything new, but yeah, you can also reply to people in comments. And there's actually, if you use Google Chrome, there's a really good extension called Replies and More. Basically, instead of having to type out a person's name, say someone comments in the comment section, you simply scroll over their comment, and then you have like a little reply link. And if you click that, then it will automatically tag them in a post. You can type out your comments. So yeah, it saves some time, especially if you're someone like me who spends an insane amount of time using social media. Because this is my job, it kind of floats between job and addiction. So just a way to really save time. So sharing content and posting content is great, but the reality is anyone can post great content, and that alone is not enough to build engagement. You have to go beyond just sharing great stuff. And a lot of people, the mistake that they make with Google Plus is they post a bunch of stuff, but it's only stuff about them. It's, oh, I have this event going on. Ooh, this is a new blog post, and all that stuff. And again, if you post stuff like that, people are just going to tune you out. They're not going to want to have anything to do with you. And again, this isn't just Google Plus. This is any social network. So make sure you're not only sharing good content, but you're also building a dialogue. You're asking questions and starting a conversation. So with my work with different companies and small businesses, as far as social media management, one of the best ways to build engagement and to start conversation is to ask open-ended questions. Questions that don't require a yes or no response. They require a little bit more of a response than that. So something like, how are you benefiting from XYZ, or what's your biggest tip to blank? asking open-ended questions will get more people to engage with your content and to actually build this conversation. And again, back to using bold and italics, that will bring attention to your content as well. But it shouldn't have to be said, but don't overdo it. If you have like a ridiculous amount of text bolded and popping out or in all caps, people are gonna think you're like some weirdo spammer dude, and they're just gonna uncircle you. That's just basically how that works. And so it's one thing to just post content. It's one thing to ask questions within your content, but you actually have to engage with your audience on their content. So just load up your stream, and I should make something clear. You don't have to spend hours and hours a day, or 4+ hours like some people, on Google Plus. You just need to spend a few minutes here and there each day. A lot of people think that you have to invest all this time and effort into Google Plus, but just spend a little bit of time here and there. See what people who you're circling, see what their content is, and actually interact with them on their own content, and that will in turn get interaction back to your stuff. And lastly with this, it really does go without saying, but don't spam in other people's stuff. Don't be a douchebag. Don't try and start an argument about religion and something that has absolutely nothing to do with it, or just don't be a jerk. And as long as you don't be a jerk, you will do well. It's just never good to be a jerk in social media, because people will just tune you out. They'll think you're a douchebag and won't want to have anything to do with you. So one of the biggest and best features of Google Plus, and really the main differentiator with Google Plus from other social networks, is Hangouts. And Hangouts are basically a group video chat. You can have up to 10 people total in a Hangout, and it's really interesting technology. Now, it's not anything new. There's been this technology for a while, but it's how Google incorporates this stuff that's really cool. So you can invite specific people, circles, or allow anyone to join a Hangout. Anyone can start one, and anyone. Excuse me, I need to actually drink a water real quick. There we go. Anyways, so yeah, you can invite anyone to a Hangout. You can make it private, whatever. And inside the Hangouts, there's a chat box where people can do a text chat. There are apps. So what's really cool is, and this was only introduced maybe several months back, but Google implemented apps into the Hangouts. So for example, you can share and edit Google Docs live in a Hangout, which is really cool. You can even put together a slide through SlideShare. So say you are a business and you need to present something to some other company that's on the other side of the planet, or across the United States. What you can do is you can actually use an app inside Hangouts to create a slide from like slideshare.net, and you can also present it in the Hangout. So we've pretty much eliminated the need to spend so much money per month on a group video chat solution. Hangouts are free. They are there, and they've got some cool stuff. And you can also play games in Hangouts. Hey, it's a time waster, but some people might like that stuff. And you can also watch videos together with the YouTube app. And there's just so many other apps that you can use with Hangouts. It's not just video chat that's great about Hangouts. It's the apps which bring just a ton of really cool functionality to it. So, and the thing about Hangouts, depending on who you are, you're either an extrovert or an introvert. Like someone like me who is an extrovert, and a bunch of other people in here, you love talking to people. You love talking to new people. So Hangouts, it's not really a big deal, but for introverts, it could be kind of, I don't know, I need to, if you're a girl, I need to make sure I have my makeup and my hair is done, and anyways, there's just if you're an introvert, Hangouts may seem like a really big deal, but honestly, they're really not. And the great thing about video is the next closest thing to actually meeting someone in real life, and it really builds a deeper connection. So, for example, think of a favorite person that you follow who does video. Over time, video helps build these deeper connections. And by doing these Hangouts, you'll be able to to build these deeper connections with people, because like I said, video chat is the next closest thing to meeting someone in real life. Now, if you can actually meet them in real life, do it. But if you can't, hey, there's Hangouts. So and the setup with Hangouts is like ridiculously simple. You know, you don't have any added software. As long as you've got a webcam, as long as you have a microphone and a decent browser. Like I'm using like Netscape, so this is working really well. Spreecast is working really well with Netscape, but no, just kidding. But you know, as long as you have a webcam and microphone, you can do a Hangout. There's no added software or anything like that, and there's just a ton of different uses for Hangouts. You know, it's hard to even think about right now all the different uses for Hangouts, but you can use them for brainstorming sessions, just general conversations. Say you're just shooting the shit with a friend. You can use them. Businesses can use them for focus groups, which I don't see a lot of them doing, but this would be a killer way to do focus groups. Customer Q&A, another great idea, and so on. I mean, there's just so many uses for Hangouts. It just goes on and on. And also, you can engage in real time. So those of us who use Twitter, we see how it loads in real time. But when you're on via video with someone, that's like truly real time. You know, you see that person, you can see their emotions, you can see their mannerisms, and you know, that's just you can really better connect with them instead of just through text. And also, and this is kind of personal opinion, but the quality in Hangouts is way better than Skype. And I know a lot of people watching this use Skype. They love it. I mean, it's a great product, but the quality of video and the quality of everything, and also the latency, so how quickly all of that stuff transfers, it's just about real time, and personal opinion, it's better quality than Skype. But also, say you don't want to do like a group video chat with 8 or 9 other people, you don't. Hangouts also work really great just one-on-one. So, you know, I haven't even loaded up Skype in a while, but, you know, here and there I will actually talk with clients one-on-one through a Hangout, and it works really well. And again, no monthly cost, so you don't have to pay for some sort of service to do group video chat. I know Skype, you have to pay so much for, you know, so many people in a group video chat. This is free, and again, you don't need any extra software. So Hangouts on Air are the next evolution of Hangouts, and they've been around since like early last year, like I want to say like October-ish. But basically, Hangouts on Air are pretty much Hangouts, except they stream they stream live and are recorded to YouTube. So Hangouts on Air are really just one of the most underrated features of any social network, period. Never before has it been so easy to stream live and to also stream live to YouTube, as well as record it to a large audience inside a social network. And the whole integration is really nice and seamless. So basically how Hangouts on Air works is, it's like I said, it's just the same as a Hangout, but it connects to your YouTube account. So the video is already there. Once you're done with your Hangout on Air, it takes so for example, sometimes I do Hangouts on Air, and they last about an hour, and just a few minutes later, the video is already live. It's already recorded and up on YouTube, ready for me to share. So once you get done with a Hangout on Air, you can then go ahead and embed that Hangout and that video on your blog or wherever. And what's great is there's no rendering or editing or uploading. You know, people, some of you watching this may do a decent amount of video, and you know how time-consuming it can be sometimes to edit the video and to then render it, and then depending on your internet connection, it can take forever to actually upload it. And with Hangouts on Air, it's just, you know, a few clicks, you talk into a microphone and a webcam, and it's done. So it's just really simple stuff, and it's just a great way of creating content based around a specific topic. And since the video is already on YouTube, you know, you can again go ahead and easily embed that on your blog and website. And this should be known, but you know, I mean, it shouldn't have to be said. But you want to focus on some really great quality content. Again, you know, the better content you can give out to people, the more they will be interested in you and what it is you have to offer. Some people will jump right into Hangouts on Air and not really have a structure. And there are some people who do Hangouts on Air that they do pretty well. But there's also sometimes when there's not really any structure for the conversation. So definitely you want to make sure you have a good strategy going into it, and have a really good structure to your talk. That way the talk will come out better. So there's quite a few different examples of people using Hangouts on Air. Like, for example, Dell, which we all know, they host a Hangout on Air just about every month, and they talk about all sorts of different things. They do giveaways. Just the other day, Starbucks, who, I mean, we all know, they did a Hangout on Air with Maroon 5, popular group. Also, Mark Cuban, if you're familiar with Mark Cuban, he's awesome. He's an investor on the show Shark Tank. He's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks and so on. He recently did a Hangout on Air answering questions, and that went over really well too. And then in the beginning of Google Plus, actually, President Obama did a Hangout on Air, which honestly more politicians and people should do that. But anyways, that's totally a different topic. But once your Hangout on Air is live, there's basic editing functions on. Oh yeah, that's right. Tiger Woods did do a Hangout recently. But once your video is live on YouTube, YouTube doesn't really offer a lot of editing options. Like, you can trim a video, but say you want to actually, add a logo or something, or say you want to actually edit the Hangout on Air. What's awesome is YouTube allows you to download your individual videos. So once the video is actually ready and it's rendered, you can then go ahead and download it straight to your computer, and then you can go ahead and edit it in your whatever program you use, and then you can re-upload it. And just make sure if you do that, make sure that the actual video, the original video, is unlisted. Otherwise, people who are subscribed to you on YouTube are going to see like 2 different videos, and it's just going to confuse them, and they're going to wonder what's going on. So we're almost wrapping up here, and I see we're getting kind of close on time. So just some random tips. So if you use Google Chrome, which highly recommend, it's awesome. There's an extension called Do Share. And this one was just introduced recently, and what it does is it allows you to schedule posts on Google+. Again, it's Do Share, all one word, and a lot of people, oh sweet, I've got till 4 o'clock. Okay, for some reason I thought I had to like 3:50. Okay, so cool, that's a lot better. So we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. But yeah, there's an extension for Chrome. Do Share allows you to schedule posts on Google+. And this is a hugely requested feature, because there's a lot of small business owners and marketers who already are spending like a ton of time over on Twitter and Facebook and all these other places, and so they can't commit a decent amount of time to Google+. So this is a great extension to share, to schedule the sharing of new posts. Now, the problem with that is this goes back to like using Twitter for like scheduling tweets and stuff. You want to actually make sure you are there every day. You don't want to just automatically schedule a bunch of posts and then never show up. I think Scott Stratton talked something similar to this earlier today. You don't want to just schedule a bunch of stuff and then not be there, because you need to interact with people who are posting in the comments, because if people see that you're just posting a bunch of stuff, and you're not interacting with them at all, you're likely going to get the idea that you don't really care, and maybe you do care, but you're just not there. So make sure you are there if you're going to share the scheduling of posts. Also, if you want to clean up your circles, there's also a great extension called Uncircle Inactives Plus. And here, let me. I'll give you guys the link to this entire PDF here in a minute. But there's an extension called Uncircle Inactives Plus, and it allows you to remove any inactive people from all of your circles. So just a few clicks, you can get rid of all of these inactive people, because while there are a lot of active people on Google+, contrary to the various myths, there's also some inactive people, and you want to keep this stuff cleaned up, and it just allows you to have a much better experience on Google+. Now, also with Google+, hashtags work. Hashtags are actually work pretty much the same on Google+ as they do on Twitter. And when you first log into Google+, if you look on the right-hand side, you'll actually see trending. And so it's pretty much the same thing as Twitter, but use hashtags here and there. Now, you don't want to overdo it, But depending on what your content is, use hashtags on occasion, because that will help more people to discover your content. And lastly, some stuff with your profile. Google Plus allows you to have a cover photo, and that's exactly what it's called. It's a cover photo. It's really no different from Facebook's, except the dimensions are a little bit different. So you can have a cover photo that's 940 by 180. And definitely make sure to utilize that, because it looks really good, and it brings more attention to your profile when people land on it. And also make sure your about section is filled out. You can actually use rich text and hyperlinks in your about section. So definitely take advantage of that. So in conclusion, and to wrap this up so we can get into Q&A, circle relevant people through the use of search and shared circles. Post high quality content, and use images and rich text like bolding and italicized content where you can, and mostly share public, because again, if you just share to circles all the time, not as many people are going to be able to see your content, and also people who are landing on your profile will see that it looks like you're inactive. Thirdly, ask open-ended questions. You really want to start and build a dialogue. If you just post just regular stuff, and you're not actually trying to build this conversation, and you're not asking these questions, people will not interact in the comments. They just won't. Also, you want to make sure to interact on other people's content, by adding value to their conversation, and not taking away from it. And also, invest daily. Like I said, you don't have to spend hours and upon hours on Google Plus every day. Just spend a little bit of time here and there. One, it's not going to kill you, and two, I promise you, if you take these tips away from this talk, Jesus, if you take these tips away from this talk and actually apply them and invest, some time here and there, you will see results with Google Plus. I guarantee it. Kind of like the Men's Warehouse guy. And also, lastly, rinse and repeat. So, just keep doing the same stuff, and also mix it up. Don't just post the exact same thing all the time. Mix it up, be creative, and share good stuff. So, like I said, this entire talk, and I will go ahead and post it here in the chat. And Susan or Ben, if you'd like, you can also post this underneath the video, this link. But if everyone goes to bit.ly/G+PDF, and you don't even have to opt into anything, you just simply download it. And also, feel free to share it with anyone and everyone you want. Susan asks, how is Google Plus different from Twitter culturally? And Google Plus really isn't too different. The audiences are very similar. And Google Plus has this real time feeling, and they have this real time culture. So it's actually not too different from Twitter. Like with Facebook, it doesn't still have that same real time feeling. But Google Plus definitely it feels a lot more like Twitter. And like a good friend of mine said that Google Plus is like a hybrid between Twitter and Tumblr, which I think sums it up really well. So the question is, so is it okay to cross-post similar/same status updates or not? I think it's okay on occasion. But if all you're doing on Google Plus is posting the exact, and I mean the exact same stuff as on Twitter and Facebook, it's really not effective, because people will be able to see that you're posting the same stuff on other social networks. So if you're posting this exact same stuff on Twitter and Facebook, why should they follow you on Google Plus? If you have any questions, like say a day or two from now, something popped up in your head, shoot me an email. I would love to chat with you about it. So my email is mike@mikestinger.com. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have any questions that pop up, some other time. Premlanka asked, when I share publicly, is there an easy way to avoid bothering specific VIPs in my circle? So when you share publicly, people are not notified about it in the actual notifications on Google Plus. So as long as there we go. So as long as you don't okay. So for example, say you share a post just publicly. Everyone who has you circled will not get a notification about that post in their notifications. They will see it in the stream, but they will not get a notification about it. Now, if you tag somebody, or if you tag a specific circle And when you go to post, if you scroll over top of that, actually, you can select to notify everyone in that circle about that post, which will then people will then get a notification about it. But if it's just publicly, then you're good.